Hi, my name's Crosmatron or Crosmatron, and today we're doing From Russia with Love, which is the second James Bond film, unless you count like the Peter Sellers Casino Royale comedy film that they made back before. I think that came out around the same time as Doctor No, or maybe it was even slightly before. Or there was some made-for-TV movie or something with James Bond that I can't remember anything about. Um, so but this is the second mainline James Bond film. Sean Connery's still in it. Sean Connery still looks like he's having a good time playing the character, which is good because he kind of, I feel like, pretty much with the next film, Goldfinger, I feel like he doesn't really get it. Like, I don't think he's like enjoying it at all, or thinks that there's a point to it. Like, he just, I think the problem with these movies is that Sean Connery doesn't seem to be enjoying them all that much. Like I think he's just taking the paycheck, and I feel like the From Russia with Love is like the best one in his opinion as well. He always used to mention it in interviews if people are like, "Oh, what's your favorite James Bond film?" and you just say, "Oh, From Russia with Love," obviously. And I think it's just because it was still kind of fresh, but the script is good and there's lots of good stuff in it. And it's there's nothing in the later James Bond films and like the later Sean Connery James Bond films at least that adds anything after this, in my opinion. This is kind of like the culmination of all the James Bond ideas in one place. This is Spectre being the evil bad guy organization, which is a multinational crime syndicate of some kind that's run by Blofeld, and the number two character is the same. Like they clearly based the number two character. I think it's called number two. Might be getting that wrong. The evil lesbian lady. She's in this. Like in Austin Powers, they ripped this off. So yeah. So basically, the whole point of this video is that I think this is the best James Bond film, and I think the problem is I'm looking at that in a framing of I see James Bond as a 1960s sort of era, 50s, 60s era sort of piece, and I don't really think that modernizations of James Bond have any purpose, um, because they're kind of deviating too far from the material, and the mores of the time have changed too much, so that they don't really work anymore in the newer films because they're too modern and they have too modern sensibilities. And a lot of the fun of the James Bond films is that they don't. Basically, what I'm saying is that James Bond is a bit of a fuckboy in this movie, and he kind of is in the later films, but not to as much a degree. They definitely toned it down a lot with. Particularly with Daniel Craig, and like even with Pierce Brosnan, they were trying to be a bit less blatant about it. And even in the 80s with Timothy Dalton, they were trying to be a bit less blatant about it as well. So they kind of like ruined it in a way because they're just not really James Bond in the stereotypical famous James Bond sense. And so I'm going to scrub through the movie kind of like I did with the other things. This version of the movie we're watching is a video CD. It's actually the PAL video CD released in Europe. So it has slightly higher resolution, but the frame rate is 25 FPS, which means that it's been sped up, which means that it might actually help get around YouTube's Content ID, because I think their assumption is that you will be watching content at the proper speed. So anything sped up, I think, is automatically okay because it won't content ID won't detect it. Maybe I might be completely wrong about that, or maybe there's a threshold, or maybe PAL is within the threshold, but I doubt it. So anyway, let's go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that guy I don't think is even Sean Connery. It's some other guy they filmed for the shot. But let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that was Sean Connery um, being James Bond, but it's actually not. It's a fake out. This whole scene is a fake out, and the fact that they go to all this trouble for a fake out is kind of funny. It's kind of like they might have got the idea of the masks in Mission Impossible from this scene. In fact, I'm basically going to just guarantee that they saw this and thought, oh, we'll use that idea and just say that it's something that exists in the world of Mission Impossible or in the world of James Bond, that you can just put masks on people and they look identical after that. 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this guy, he's one of the evil henchmen. He comes back a bunch. Is he Russian or not? Don't know. Okay, so for some reason he looks kind of happy here. I guess this is kind of Sean Connery's typical expression when he's not really acting. I think it's kind of okay here because it's not meant to be James Bond's. This isn't James Bond. I said it's Guy in a Mask. So yeah, and so the henchman gets him. And oh, it's all they've just been watching. So basically they just set up that James Bond and this other guy were like meant to be hunting each other down. The other guy is a guy in a mask. He's probably just some random asshole. And they're telling him that he's good. And then they pull the mask off and it looks really fake in the shot. And it's just some random guy. And then we go like in Doctor No, the intro. I don't remember what the intro. We've got the same composer as all the other James Bond films around this time, and like I can't remember his name, but yeah. So we get this nice injecting stuff onto some ladies, and they're all dancing. So one of the interesting things about this film is that James Bond isn't in it for ages. We just get this guy who's playing chess. And basically, he's meant to be some genius, and he wins the chess match. And then he comes in here, and there's that lady who's the lesbian one, and him, and then Blofeld.
I hope Cranston's efforts as director of planning will continue to be as successful as his chess.
They will be. According to your instructions, I've planned for Spectre to steal from the Russians their new lector decoding machine. For this, we need the services of a female member of the Russian crypto...
Okay, so what he's saying is that they're going to steal a lectern. I don't know if that was loud enough. He said he was going to steal a lectern from the Russians so they can... Like, it's basically like an Enigma machine. I don't know if the lectern is a real machine or if it's just something that's made up but for this movie. But basically, they want to steal one, and they want basically... they want British intelligence to help them, so they're going to get a lady to... basically thirst trap James Bond. That's it. A Russian lady who works for the Russians.
...section in Turkey, and the help of the British Secret Service. Naturally, neither the Russians nor the British will be aware that they are now working for us. No.
Yeah, so I actually really like this idea. Basically, they're just... Let's skip past this.
They have wanted one for years.
Yeah, they've wanted one for years.
All that you say could be true. What else?
Okay, we have this bit which is very similar to the scene in Wayne's World. It's either Wayne's World 1 or 2, where they're getting ready for the guys are like practicing similarly to this. So it's clearly a copy of the scene.
I hope our work here meets with your approval.
Training is useful, but there is no...
Yeah, so... He's just like James Bond. He likes the ladies. That means he's a, you know, he's a Chad. Yeah, so she's gonna, hit him. Yeah, she... Okay, so basically she just hits him to test that he, I skipped past that, but don't worry about it.
Не хочешь пойти с нами? Мы уходим.
Мне нужно пойти за покупками.
I thought this... Maybe this part's supposed to have subtitles. This is an official paid for version of the movie, and they were just speaking Russian there, and there were no subtitles of any kind, so maybe it doesn't matter what they said.
Увидимся позже в столе. Не опоздали?
So she's going to her office or whatever, and then the Russian lady comes in.
Decoding room.
Did you tell anyone at the consulate you were coming here?
No, the message said.
Yes, I know. I sent it.
Yeah, so basically, the Russian lady is, like, officially still working... Well, okay, so the number 2 lady is officially working for the Russians still, but she's also working for Spectre, which is the evil organization, and she's using her position to assert her authority and make this lady do stuff, which is basically just to strap James Bond. Yeah. Because they want an elect him. I mean,
work record
Spectre
is
wants one.
excellent. The state is proud of you.
Thank you.
Sit down.
So, the reason I like this scene is because... The reason I like this scene, well, we'll skip forward to why.
You are not here to ask questions. You forget to whom you're speaking. Sensible answer. This man, for instance.
I cannot tell. Perhaps if he was kind and kulturny.
Corporal,
Okay, so... basically...
he says,
And if I refuse?
then you will not leave this room alive.
Yeah, she's saying you have to do it or I'll kill you, basically.
I will obey your orders.
Good. Now these are your
The thing I like about this scene is that, like...
instructions. You report to me here.
Yes.
But the consulate security man must not know that I'm in Istanbul. This is classified far above his level.
I will say nothing to
If
anyone.
you do, you will be shot. Come, my dear.
See, look at the way she looks at her. That's the best thing about this scene.
You are very fortunate to have been chosen for such a simple, delightful duty. A real labor of love.
Yeah, so basically she just has to... The plan's pretty simple. It's already established that basically they just have to tell the Brits that this lady has the hots for James Bond, so she wants to meet up with him and give him a lectern.
I said it's great sport, this bunting.
I couldn't agree with him more.
I may even give up golf for it.
Really?
This is what... okay, so, like, at the time, you've got the free love stuff. You've got to... you have to remember this is pre-AIDS and stuff, right? So this is during the free love movement era. So basically... everybody was having lots of sex for pleasure, basically, and they just everybody was convinced that it was very safe to do so. So I'm not saying everybody, but it was quite common, and it's being portrayed as a very positive thing in this movie. So basically, like, but also he's a Chad because he gets all the ladies. It's kind of two things in one, really. But they're basically just trying to sell you on the idea that this sort of lifestyle is like there's nothing really wrong with it. Anyway. So he gets interrupted and he has to go to work. Fine.
Starving.
Doing an old case.
Oh, so I'm an old case now, am I?
Shh, it's the office.
Miracle.
Yeah, so basically Miss Moneypenny said that, oh, yeah, because she called her an old case. But basically Miss Moneypenny knows that James Bond has sex with everybody, basically. And basically James Bond came in here because he wanted to flirt with Miss Moneypenny, but M is standing right next to Miss Moneypenny, so James Bond can't flirt in front of M, so it's ruined James Bond's day and Miss Moneypenny's day. But, you know... I like the way he threw his hat. He does that in basically every film, or every film. He throws his hat on that hat stand. It's really cool. And then he doesn't wear it for the rest of the movie.
It'll be a miracle if he can explain where he's been all day.
I know.
I've never even heard
He's
of
just
a
been having
Tatiana
sex all day.
Romanova.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
It's absolutely crazy.
Of course, girls do fall in love with pictures of film stars.
Yeah, well, of course they do. And they have parasocial relationships with them as well. And men do the same thing, too. But, you know.
But not a Russian cipher clerk with a file photo of a British agent. Unless she's mental. No, it's some sort of trap.
See, James Bond says he knows right away it's a trap. And I like that idea too, because basically, like, the whole idea of the plot is they're basically being thirst trapped, and James Bond knows this already going in because he's not stupid. And M knows too because he's also not stupid. So everybody knows.
Well, obviously it's a trap.
Well, obviously
And
it's
the
a
bait
trap.
is a cipher machine, a brand new lector.
Lector.
The
I thought it was
CIA's
a
been
lector,
after
not
one
a
of those
lector.
for years.
Yes, so we.
Yes, so have we. Yeah, so CIA mentioned.
When she contacted Kerim Bey,
I don't remember. Okay, I don't remember if the CIA guys turn up. I know that in Goldfinger, the CIA guys are quite prominent in the movie. I don't remember them turning up in this one, but
head of Station T Turkey, and told him she wanted to defect. She said she'd turn it over to us on one condition, that you went out to Istanbul and brought her and the machine back to England.
yeah. So basically, they're just repeating themselves a bit, just trying to make it really clear what the plot is.
Fantastic. It just could be true.
Hmm.
Oh, but she's pretty, so actually he does want a bono.
Morning. If there's any chance of us getting a lector, we simply must look into it.
Lecter.
Suppose when she meets me in the flesh, I don't come up to expectation.
Yeah. So I don't like. He knows it's a trap. So I don't. I mean, I guess it's a joke. Whatever.
It's Wallace. We're issuing this to all 00 personnel.
Top off, you'll find the ammunition inside.
Yeah, so they have the gadgets like in later James Bond films, but obviously all the gadgets are all fairly basic, which is unbelievable.
Flat
And
throwing knife. Press that button there.
they got a little bit of a knife and some other
Inside
things.
the case, you'll find an AR-7 folding sniper's rifle.
Sniper rifle.
.25 caliber, with an infrared telescopic sight.
Infrared sniper.
Inside, a tear gas cartridge. That goes in the case against the side here like that.
Magnetic.
It's magnetized, so it won't
Magnetized.
fall. Shut the case.
Yeah, so basically, he has.
Turn
he
the
has
catches horizontally.
Like that?
That's right.
And open ordinarily?
You got it?
Yes, I think so.
Is that all, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. You've never been to Istanbul? No. Where the moonlight on the Bosphorus is irresistible.
They did get to flirt after all. Fantastic.
Let me tell you the secret of the world.
Realistically, James Bond's gonna have herpes probably on all of his parts, on his lips and on his trunk. So, yeah, like even before AIDS, and probably syphilis, and chlamydia, and gonorrhea, and anything else you can think of.
Kerim Bey sent a car for you, sir.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, so I like this bit with the Turks because they're all really friendly and they're all very allied with the British and stuff, and they all hate the Russians and so on. But I'm pretty sure this territory is controlled by the Russians at this point in time historically. But you know.
Can I borrow a match?
I use a lighter.
It's better still.
Until they go wrong.
This is a film, though, and probably all of this was shot in London or around that area. I'm guessing, except maybe a couple of bits, but yeah. So the Bulgarians are basically following them. So there's some like chasey bits.
Kerim Bey suggested that you see him before going to the hotel, sir. Would that be convenient?
Right.
Fine.
Okay, so I'm just gonna skip through a bit because that bit wasn't that interesting. But basically, just he's made his way back to the hotel control, which is a friendly hotel, friendly to the Allies. So he's just going into see the sky. Very friendly Turkish guy.
Well, thank you for sending the car, but
See, he's so friendly. You can see his smile. You can see his
it
smile.
does rather tie you in with me.
You're in the Balkans now, Mr. Bond. The game with the Russians is played a little differently here. The day-to-day routine matters. We don't make it too difficult to keep a tab on each other.
Right. So basically, he's just gonna hang out here because this is where the lady. This is around the area where the lady works. So he's his base of operations is the hotel with this Turkish guy for some reason. I guess because they're British allied or whatever. That looks like a picture of Churchill or something. Maybe it's not.
So I gathered from your show.
It's probably a Turkish guy. I'm trying to think because there's a picture of somebody weird on the photo in the bottom right, which I've never noticed.
He's a rather intelligent young man, by the way.
He should be. He's my
Everybody's smoking too. Fantastic.
son. Is the best security in this business.
Yeah, so he's basically just saying like, obviously you would hire people based on their blood in your business, otherwise you can't trust people, which is basically correct.
Business of U.S. Thank
Yeah, so basically this thug guy who's part of Spectre, he's already taken over the job of stalking James Bond in the Bulgarian guy is tied up, or a Bulgarian guy's tied up. Right, so James Bond gets to the hotel. Yeah, so basically James Bond was just looking for a bug, and he finds one, and yeah, so I need to explain like what I like about that scene is it was extremely long. I know I just skipped over it. This whole scene with the guy with James Bond looking for a bug in the hotel, it goes on way too long, and it's actually I like that because it just like shows him reacting to everything, looking at everything, and it's very like believable and stuff. It's just like the way they would have done it in a modern one is they would have done it really quickly and fast paced and fastly edited, trying to keep it really short. But having, in my opinion, the pacing of these older films is much more enjoyable to watch because you get more time to breathe and to absorb everything that's happening, and you get to like everything would have happened really quickly. And the scene where he's talking to the Turkish guy, and the Turkish guy's giving his thoughts and opinions about stuff, that's really fun. And they don't do stuff like that in modern James Bond movies either because it's too long and boring. And the scenes earlier where the Spectre guys were just sitting around talking about their plans, that scene was way too long. But it was really like, they don't make them like that anymore. They don't make these movies like this now because they're all these scenes are always just like blitzed past really quickly usually. Not in every James Bond film, but in like most of them, certainly in the Pierce Brosnan ones, I think there was a reticence to have the slower pacedness in them, and they were like, oh, we have to keep things moving along really quickly. And I think they're I definitely saw one of the Daniel Craig films where the pacing was quite slow, and it felt kind of more like a more old-fashioned James Bond film, and I can't remember which one it was, but I kind of liked that about that one. I think Skyfall was also slightly slower paced, and but I think the Bourne films are the problem, which is that they tend to try and keep the editing moving quickly in the Bourne films, and I think they took that on board with James Bond as well, where they were like, oh, everything has to happen really quickly, and there has to be more stuff, like there has to be more characters with more things happening. In this one, so far, all that's happening is that there's still that girl who's going to provide a lectern, as long as she can get James Bond's dick, and that's it. That's basically the plot, and the Turks are going to help because they're allied with the Brits to some degree, even though I think Turkey is technically part of Russia, but there's at least some British, Western-friendly Turks or something, but, and yeah. And we also know that that henchman guy is chasing James Bond, or at least following, like, stalking James Bond, I guess. But the point is, James Bond looks like he's having fun here, and Sean Connery looks like he's having fun playing James Bond, which is something that you don't really get in the other ones. And also, Roger Moore is absolutely horrible to watch. I don't know what it is about him, but I just can't with him. He really creeps me out when I watch, if I watch a Roger Moore one, like a Roger Moore James Bond movie. I think just horrible. But so it's not leaving me with many more options, because I'm saying Sean Connery is clearly the best on a good day, but he's not actually always giving you his best performance in these films, because I think after Goldfinger, we're kind of... he's just no fun after Goldfinger, really. But in Goldfinger, he doesn't do much. So, yeah.
Mr. Bond here.
Yes?
I'm afraid the room won't do.
I'm sorry.
The bed's too small.
One moment, sir.
Yeah, so
Did you hear that?
after finding the bug, he tells them he needs a new room.
Tell him that's all there is, unless you would like the bridal suite.
I'm sorry, sir. That's all we have available.
Yeah, so these people. So there's the henchman coming.
Who can the Russians suspect but the British? The Cold War in Istanbul will not remain cold very much longer.
Yeah, so basically they're saying that they need, they have plans for the Brits to make them look bad. Yeah, so that's that guy, that's the guy with his wife. So he's the friendly Turkish guy who likes British people. There's a bomb, and basically the bomb, they believe, well, basically presumably that's what the Spectre people were saying, is that the bomb will be blamed on the British, probably, and probably not anybody else, since the British people are around, but, like, I don't know if that's true. I think that's the implication here. I don't think that happens, so I don't really get what that bit of dialogue earlier was.
Well, who won? I had visitors. Limpet mine on the wall outside. Time to catch me at my desk. But by good fortune, I was relaxing on the settee for a few moments.
Yeah, so basically he just moved around in the room and the bomb didn't blow him up, because it was quite a small bomb anyway.
I think my visit might have something to do with it.
Let's try and find out.
Yeah, so they go into the sewer. And for some reason they have a periscope, which the British gave him, I think.
I can see everything M said.
Director of Military Intelligence. On his left, Kozlovsky.
Yeah, so basically he's got in the sewer, using the periscope, he can look up into a room and see what the Russians are doing.
Security. Opposite him, Benz, one of his agents.
He's giving him a hell of a blowing up for something.
It's too bad we can't hear as well as see. Lenko. So he's back. Another Bulgarian they use as a killer. Just the man for the Limpet mine job.
Yes, it's probably the Bulgarian guy who tried to blow him up. See, I like this. This whole thing is interesting because it's very, like, what the hell is even happening? Like, why is this guy helping James Bond at all? Because I guess he's an Anglophile, I guess, maybe. But the Brits like him too, and they've been, like, funding him or something, or at least giving him free stuff. It's all very bizarre.
But he stayed out of Istanbul for over a year now.
The girls just things are shaping up nicely.
Yeah, so James Bond's just talking about this lady's legs, saying, because he's sexually objectifying the lady. Because that's what he does. Because he's James Bond.
I'd like to see her in the flesh.
Okay, it's the same lady. Oh, whatever.
I need a little time to deal with.
I see now why you keep the rolls.
One of my sons is driving it, with two dummies in the back, in the opposite direction. They'll follow.
Okay, so he smartly put a decoy in his main car to make it look like James Bond and him are going the other direction. So that's kind of a smart idea. And yeah, there's lots. Thing is, if you go through this movie with the fine-tooth comb, probably better than I am, a lot of the plans and dialogue and things, it's all like, well, this is how we did this is how we did that, and I feel like it's all relatively well explained, and all the scenes sort of flow into each other well. This is why we're going here and stuff. There are some odd things, like this Turkish guy. I don't know why he's so helpful, but he just wants to help in every way he can for no obvious reason.
Follow it for hours.
That's the only flaw with the movie, in my opinion.
Like my gypsy friends. I use them like the Russians use the Bulgars. I'm afraid it's created a blood feud between them.
Okay, so I can't probably say that word anyway. I mean, I can, but... So they're going to a traveler camp, Romani camp, whatever you... And they're gonna hang out with these people. This scene goes on way too long. So I'm just gonna skip most of it. But there's this Bulgarian guy who is just killing everybody. I guess presumably his plan is to kill James Bond or the other guy.
Tell our host his hospitality overwhelms me.
Yeah, so I think the main point of this is just to show, it's kind of like the bit in Temple of Doom where you show people of weird different cultures, which the audience probably doesn't have much knowledge of or identifies with much, and you show them like exotic, interesting situations and things like the portrayal of various groups in Temple of Doom is very interesting and I think like questionable in hindsight, I think, but in this movie we're kind of in a similar realm where we're trying to parade these people around to show them to the audience so that they go, oh, that's interesting. Look, I didn't know this about that group, except that anything this movie says about these people is probably massively inaccurate anyway, right? But apparently they have to fight over a man now, like this lady and the other lady. That's why they're fighting. So they're fighting to the death over a guy. And then the Bulgarian guy comes up. I have a feeling this music's composed by the same guy who did the music for The Prisoner, because it's very similar, and this is around the same time. I can't remember what his name is. Anyway. Yeah, so he gets killed. James Bond survives.
No. Just a minute.
Oh, I thought this guy died. Maybe he dies later, but the Turkish guy on the left, I think he gets killed soon, doesn't he? Or maybe he's...
Yeah, thank you. You fought well. I am nothing but a clumsy old man. You're making one of the wounded Bulgars talk.
I'll take care of this filthy stuff. Well, thank you. I'd like to ask him a favor. Could you stop the girl fight?
James Bond's saying that he doesn't like the girls fighting each other because he thinks it's a waste of girls. Because if you have two girls fighting to the death, then, you know, one of them has to die, and then, like, that leaves a net surplus of, not surplus, deficit. Yeah, it increases the goal deficit if you just have girls fighting each other. That's why it's dumb. James Bond's trying to explain this to them, and they won't listen to him.
As if I didn't have enough problems.
Yeah, so he's just drinking because that's what he does.
For you to decide. So decide. They're both yours.
Yeah, just have both then, idiot. Okay. Yeah, see, they never, because, like, they portray the women as just objects. Like, I would say that this way of portraying women is just portraying them as objects, but that in and of itself is kind of, like, how, I mean, it makes sense in context, and I think James Bond, doesn't see women as people, really, anyway, right? Well, not the same as the guy.
It's on the seat. Thank you.
Anyway, I was saying this is the best James Bond movie. Like, you might be very bored, but the basic plot takes ages to get going, as it always does in these movies. And it was just an excuse to have some exotic ladies fighting each other and some explosions and stuff early in the movie. Like, nothing interesting has happened yet.
Twice that Krylenko has tried to kill me. The third time he will succeed. Unless I get him first.
Oh. He's saying he's going to get killed off. I think, foreshadowing. Okay.
Harm or no harm.
That's a very tiny gun. Yeah, so... maybe he hasn't died yet. Did he die here, or... yeah, he's not dead yet. So, he comes back in here. He comes in here. Oh, and the lady's here. Presumably, she broke in or something. Or somebody else helped her break in. Presumably, at least. Or maybe that... Oh, that's the hotel room next door, I think. But he's coming in anyway. Oh. Thing is, okay. Right, so, from this point we need to say, like, she's basically a massive James Bond simp. That's kind of the idea of this bit. I don't know if that comes across well enough, but I think the idea is fun. Like, genuinely, that's the plot of the movie, is that she's a James Bond simp. But she's actually pretending to be a James Bond simp. She's not really a James Bond simp. She just, like, she doesn't know if she... Like, she doesn't have an opinion at this point, but she was told she has to pretend to be a James Bond simp. So let's see how well she does.
You look surprised.
And why is
I
he
saw you
pointing his gun at
expecting
her?
me.
Because he knows.
So you're Tatiana Romanova.
My friends call me Tanya.
Mine call me James Bond.
Oh, nice handshake.
Now that we've been properly introduced.
Careful. Guns upset me.
I'm sorry. I'm a bit upset myself.
You look just like your photograph.
Yeah. Do you think she's doing a good job? I don't think so, but I think it's okay because she's not a spy. They've kind of made that clear a lot, that she's actually just a typographer or whatever it's called. That's probably just another word for secretary or something. So she doesn't actually know how to pretend to be a simp properly, or how a simp would
You're one of
behave.
the most beautiful girls I've ever seen.
Thank you. But I think my mouth is too big.
No, it's the right size.
Uh-huh. That's a sex joke. Well, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a kissing joke.
Lecter.
Must we talk about it now?
Yeah, so James Bond is, like, despite all the fuckboy stuff, he's straight to business, and he's like, okay, now that we've started kissing and stuff, I just want to know if you're actually going to give me the Lecter or not. Which I thought was really a nice touch. I think when you first watch it, you're like, oh, he's just going to have sex with her, and then, you know, he's probably not even going to think about the Lecter much. And then, like, the first thing he says, pretty much, is, okay, I want to do my job first thing first, my job is the most important thing.
Or is it at the Russian consulate?
So he's asking where it is, obviously.
Later.
And she's saying to ignore it. And obviously is this the Russians, or is this Spectre that's watching? No, it's Spectre, right? Yeah, it is Spectre. Yeah, so Spectre lesbian lady was watching them boning. Would that turn her on? I don't know. I don't even know. I think because she liked that other lady. She thought the other lady was very attractive. That's why she picked her out. That's why it was important to have a lesbian in Spectre, so they could ascertain whether the lady who would be trying to seduce James Bond is actually attractive or not. I mean, they could have got a guy to do it, but I guess it's more interesting to have a lady making those calls, so you have to have a lesbian lady making them, right? Okay, so probably skip forward a bit.
All three columns stolen and brought
Okay, so
from Egypt.
Remember what's going on here. Oh. He's just meeting her in public because he wants the Lecter. Like, or is he following her? I forget, actually. Okay, so he attacks that Bulgarian guy, and then he's there.
Job. Once he'd seen the girl, she was obviously compromised, and so...
And he wasn't killed because of that.
Let's just say that Istanbul's a rough town.
Yeah.
Let's see how Tanya's map of the Russian consulate compares with your architect's plans.
Okay, so I guess they're supposed to be getting it from the consulate.
Yes, that checks. And this here's the communication room.
Yeah. So there should be a Lecter nearby. Now the plan is obviously, for some reason, presumably Spectre want the British, like, the main plan is they want the British to get the Lecter, and then basically they'll steal it off us. by us, I mean the British. I'm James Bond. Like as if I'm on James Bond's team.
Too dangerous.
The old game. Give a wolf a taste,
Yeah.
keep him hungry.
Yeah.
My friend, she's got you dangling.
That doesn't matter. All I want is that Lecter.
All?
Oh. Now they're interesting. Now they're debating about the, you know, since he's going to be screwing her a lot as part of the mission, is that like is that a major motivation for him?
Are you sure that's all you want?
Well.
Oh, he's saying he likes the boning bit, like, as well.
Sorry, he won't. Another one.
They meet up in weird exotic places for no obvious reason.
Business first.
I know. Once you have got what you want.
I haven't got it yet. But if you tell me about the machine, well, afterwards we won't always be working on the company's time.
Yeah, so James Bond's saying that he's like, she's been stringing him along too much and going, we'll get it at some point. We'll get the Lecter at some point. Because, like, originally she said that she wanted to defect because she loved James Bond so much and she would give anything, including, like, a Lecter, which she knows where all of them are, and so on. So,
All right. What do you want to know?
Talking to this. Answer my questions.
Actually, look at that. That's some kind of audio recording device. That's magnificent. I want a device that can record audio. I think that would be amazing. Look at it. Look at it.
Quietly, but clearly. How large is the machine?
Like a typewriter.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I think my memory of the Enigma machine was that it was basically just regular typewriter size.
Weight?
About 10 kilos.
10 kilos? That's kind of heavy.
A brown case. Brown like your eyes.
Keep it technical.
Are they really using kilograms in this movie in 19 whatever? Because the bulk of the audience at this point, in Britain as well, had not even heard of a kilogram, really. Maybe they used kilograms because they were like, oh, that seems like a very foreign measurement system.
Self-calibrating or manual?
Both. With an inbuilt compensator. James, couldn't we?
Not now.
Okay, so...
The message comes out in a pepper roll from another slot on the other side. The mechanism is...
Okay, so they're just listening to her shitty audio description of how Lecter works.
Girl, the date.
The 13th?
The 14th.
Okay, so they're gonna try and steal it. And she's gonna help, presumably.
Here, take this. It's only tear gas.
I thought it was for tomorrow, but today is the 13th, isn't it?
Yeah, see, it's he did it in advance just to fuck with her, just in case she was not on the up and up, because he knew that she was bullshitting, but he doesn't know that she's not working for the Russians. She's actually working for Spectre, but she doesn't know that she's working for Spectre. She thinks that she's working for the Russians. So that's why this film is good, because nobody knows what's going on, basically. Like, they're all misled, basically. And I think that's kind of nifty. And, like, the other James Bond films don't really do that. You know, it's like everybody's, like James Bond's pretending that he doesn't know that it's all a trap. He's just pretending that he thinks it's all on the up and up. Whereas it's all just a trick. But it's not a trick by the Russians, it's a trick by Spectre. But James Bond thinks it's a trick by the Russians, as I explained. So, you know, that's already much better. Like, that idea is a much better idea for a story than basically every other James Bond film ever made. Yeah, that's why this is the best one. We've hit the point, and I've explained it. So either you understood or you did not understand. Now, the rest of the movie after here is much better than the first half, in my opinion. I think the first half took way too long to get to this point, because we're at about the halfway point. And it's about 44 minutes of this video, but I feel like she came back into the movie too late, like there was too much of a gap, and there's been too many extra scenes with the Romani and with the Turks and things, which were not really necessary. They're necessary in the sense of keeping the pace nice and slow before everything big starts happening, which I think there is a merit to that. I think they were very careful with the pacing of these James Bond movies to try and keep the sort of general like the amount of space between everything in every James Bond film about the same, like hitting the beats at about the same parts, like a pop song. Like you'd try and edit every James Bond film to be basically the same, but just with different film, but basically the same story, except the story is a better written story than every other James Bond film. Um, so yeah.
Pretend to be superstitious. Come on.
Yeah, so they're escaping together.
Wait, quickly!
Yeah, so the other guy's still helping them. He does get killed at some point, but maybe not yet. So James Bond has the Lecter still. They're going onto the train. And basically, various people's henchmen get on. So there's at least this Spectre guy, who's this guy, and some other guys jumped on. The other guys, I can't remember who they were. Are they the Bulgarians that were mentioned earlier? Maybe. I skipped through it a lot, so I didn't catch. Okay, so but this is nifty because the next large chunk of the movie is on this train, and yeah, that's another, like, if this movie was a 7 out of 10, like the fact that there's a very large chunk of the movie on a train would make it an 8.5 at least. But because the plot is already very good, we've got up easily to an 8, and now this is added about a 1.5 on top of that, so we're getting dangerously close to the limit of where, like, I think realistically you can't really give a James Bond film more than about an 8.5 anyway, I think, because there's nothing especially groundbreaking about any of these James Bond film movies. They're all just popcorn fluff, so this is getting dangerously close to being massively overrated in my head, where I think it's a 9.5. Maybe. I think I have to give this about a 9.5 out of 10, this movie, which is just too much. It's like doesn't really deserve it. But it kind of does, and that's the problem with this movie, is that it's the only James Bond film that really deserves a 9.5 out of 10. The rest probably would have trouble breaking an 8.
Here's one of them.
You know, unless you can point out a really good James Bond film that is on a train that I've forgotten, which I don't think exists.
And there's the other one.
So, yeah, sorry, I remember now. This guy, the Turkish guy, he dies on the train. So he's still alive, even though he was shot before. So they're going to hide out together on the train, basically until they get back to the Western Europe. So, and they need to avoid everybody on the way.
Your passports. The pictures do not do you justice.
Yeah, so they've got passports. I don't know if they're... Wait a minute.
I have rarely seen a handsomer couple.
Mr. and Mrs. David Somerset.
Oh, so entirely... That's a British passport. I have a British passport that looks very similar to that, because the modern British passport looks more like the old-fashioned one, rather than the EU-style passports. But I don't have the whole white circular section. Well, not circle. I don't even know what shape that is. It's like a split, elongated, like extracted circle. Is that the term? To make it stretched in the middle? Anyway, that shape, with, or you could just say it's a square with like round edges. Not a square, rectangle, oblong. Trapezoid, a dodecahedron, a cuboid. What am I talking about? Oh yeah. So basically he's got a British passport though, which is not very fancy, because like probably everybody on set had a British passport nearby, and they probably gave him one.
Your name's Caroline.
Caroline. I like that name.
You're accompanying me on a business trip.
Yeah, they didn't even make any fake British passports for this movie. They just probably their own passports.
Not even one little boy?
Niet.
He said niet. I like that.
I like big families myself. In fact, my whole life has been a crusade for larger families.
That's based as fuck. So I really okay. I just have to applaud this guy too. If this movie didn't already have a 9.5 out of 10, this Turkish guy is really fun. He has lots of long scenes, which I mostly skipped over, but they're really funny, and he's very charming and fun through them. And he really like helps to like probably more than Sean Connery. He's kind of carrying the movie on its back by being very entertaining whenever he's on screen. Like he's always doing a lot, and he's trying to be fun and entertaining. And the script is very good. It gives him a lot of really like fun dialogue between him and the other characters around him. And I think like James Bond doesn't really have good dialogue mostly in this movie, but like the Turkish guy does. So yeah, there's some really good scenes there. And yes, there's no chance of you getting bored while watching the movie, because pretty much like even when the movie's like slower paced, the dialogue is fun. And yeah, and the head scratchy plot is fun.
So I heard. Tanya,
Yes?
keep the door locked. I'll knock 3 times.
Okay.
Knock, knock, knock.
I'll go see the conductor now.
You're sure he'll cooperate?
Oh, we've done business before. He'll stop the train near the Bulgarian frontier where my sons will be waiting with a car.
So they're going to switch from train to a car. That's actually not a bad idea. You have to keep switching up. That's what I learned from Grand Theft Auto, I guess. Is that correct? But yeah, if you're being followed by people, you should keep switching your vehicles. It's always a good idea.
We'll be there about 6 o'clock.
On the airstrip?
6 o'clock.
20
airstrip.
miles.
Oh, wait a minute. I guess they're going train, plane. Sorry, I guess they're going train, car, plane, or something. Anyway, but that's the plan.
There.
Yeah, so they go back in. So they're just acting like a couple because James Bond is pretending that he likes her and she's pretending that she likes him, just to keep like they're basically both. They both have to feel like the other one is pretending to like. Yeah, they both feel like the other one of them in the couple. I'm talking about James Bond and the Russian lady. They both have to pretend to like the other one. You know, to pretend that they're going along with the plan as expected. Except at this point in time, it probably benefits both of them the most to just like it doesn't matter if they both go along with it, particularly at this point, because it's too late to change what the plan is at this point. They're too bought in. Yeah, so there's a bunch of different spies and things on the train.
You're nearest.
Oh, all right.
Oh. Okay, so I think yeah, there's like a switch there where you think it's gonna be the Turkish guy, but it's not.
Do not be alarmed,
no.
my friend. We will make
I got
you
confused.
comfortable.
I got confused. Like, never mind, doesn't matter. I thought that was I'm the one getting confused. I'm just tired because I thought maybe there's a different part in the movie where you think it's going to be this guy, but it's not because this guy is dead or something.
It's possible.
Or maybe.
Now I'm sure Commissar Benz will have a much safer journey.
Not mad about his tail, are you?
No.
You know, James, life in Istanbul will never be the same without you.
See you in the restaurant car.
Yeah. Okay, so they're gonna go have food. Yum yum.
I've had.
Okay.
Again.
Wait.
Anything else?
Possible.
See you in the restaurant car.
I wanted to see this bit.
I've had a particularly fascinating life. Would you like to hear about it?
Yeah, I think that's the last you see of this guy. I might have been thinking of a scene from a different movie or getting confused. I'm getting a bit confused myself. I think that it's been a while since I saw the movie, but I thought there was a bit where I might have skipped past it, but I thought there was a bit where you thought it was going to be this guy at the door, but it wasn't, or something like that. Or maybe that happens later. But yeah, it's this henchman guy. Yeah, no, it is this bit. It is this bit. Yeah, yeah. See, it tricks him because he knocked the door 3 times. Oh.
You like it?
they made it look like it was going to be the henchman, but then it was James Bond. Maybe that's what it was I was remembering in my head. I remember there was some weird, like, a different person turns up at the door than you expect. Maybe that was it.
Does rather suit you.
I will say
There's some weird editing in this part. They keep trying to throw you off. They keep trying to throw you off what's happening by showing you unexpected things in this part. Because they're on a train and it's very thin and narrow, and they're like, oh, you'd think this guy would come in, but really this guy came in. There's lots of bits like that from memory. I've mostly just been skipping over it, so I probably...
This is again.
Why?
It's almost 6.
So?
Well, it's tea time.
We'll have it in here. We'll have all our meals here.
Yes, that would be splendid. English couple. They would certainly have tea in the restaurant.
Oh, shit.
Now listen, boss, darling. A friend of...
Yeah, so that other guy's dead. Yeah.
Connery was a very important man. He's a very influential friend.
Yes, the train was supposed to stop, but they didn't manage to get it to stop because that guy was supposed to arrange it and it didn't happen or whatever. So the train keeps going.
Tanya, maybe they didn't let you in on all of it, but whatever you do know, tell me.
I know I love you, James.
Yeah, she... At this point, the thing I like about this point is that because there was plausible deniability about it, you actually have no idea whether she really likes him or not in any way at this point. I think you're supposed to think that she might, but, you know, she might just still be playing along at this point.
I love you.
Just tell me.
I love you, it's true.
I'd be inclined to not believe her. Actually. Choo-choo! Okay, so to get to the station, he's just having a cigarette. So that's obviously the henchman guy. So I think James Bond's just trying to see if anybody is around that they shouldn't be trusting.
Excuse me.
Oh no, or maybe he's looking for the Turkish
Can I
guy.
borrow a match?
I use a lighter.
Better
Oh, yeah.
still.
Until they go wrong.
The problem here is because I've been skipping over bits, I don't remember
My brother
what bit is
telephoned.
coming next.
Why did the train not stop?
Well, I have some bad news.
Yeah, the guy's dead.
Your father's dead.
Who did it? Tell me.
Well, he took care of that himself. The other man died first. Now listen. I'll need some help to get across the frontier strip between Yugoslavia and Trieste.
Yugoslavia? Now he's just making words up.
I want you to send a message to M in London. Tell him to send someone from Station Y to meet me in Zagreb, all right?
I will.
Okay. Okay. So this bit's interesting because the guy pretends to be an agent, like a allied agent.
Nash. Captain Nash.
See, he's putting on an English accent.
On traveling to Somerset.
My God.
What kept you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I only got Emswar an hour ago. I busted every record getting here.
This accent sounds really fake, though, which is actually kind of interesting because obviously he's supposed to be faking his accent. That's the whole point of this bit. But actually, not very convincing accent. I don't think any English man ever sounded like this in reality, so it's very bizarre.
What were M's orders?
Only to contact you and the lady on the train.
Only to collect your lady on the train. And that's roughly what he sounds like to me. It doesn't sound anything like a real English accent.
Good. Come this way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is my wife, Caroline, Captain Nash.
Oh,
Okay, so, does she know him? I don't remember, because the problem here is that we haven't watched the whole movie, and I don't
how do
remember
you
it.
do? I'm so pleased to meet you.
This way, Nash.
No, I guess they haven't
Sit down,
met each
will you?
other.
Thank you.
It wouldn't make sense if they had anyway.
Been long in Yugoslavia?
About 3 years.
Interesting work.
Where? Okay, this is why, you know, the guy is a faker, because like James Bond made up the country of Yugoslavia, and then this guy, Captain Nash, just assumed that it must be a real place.
Yes.
That's a joke. I'm joking.
Sometimes. You know how it is, old man.
You know how it is, old man.
You look very fit, Nash.
Yes. I try to keep in shape.
I try to get, you know. Okay. You're not supposed to. I mean, obviously, James Bond doesn't believe him anyway. James Bond is already doubting this guy is being honest.
So what's our problem, sir?
What's our problem, sir?
I can't risk sticking this through the customs at the Yugoslav-Trieste border.
No stops till then. We'll have to jump off.
Can you get us across?
Any of the opposition around?
I'm not in any condition to worry about.
Yeah, so basically James Bond is saying to this guy, I don't think that you're one of the opposition. So that's why he said it in that way. So it's kind of... But he does actually suspect it.
I know this territory like the back of my hand. Sir, do you mind if we have a bite to eat first? I've been on the go since breakfast.
No, of course not.
I've been on the go. This is breakfast.
Caroline, you go on with Captain Nash to the restaurant.
Okay, so I'll probably hang on. I don't know how much this movie. Okay, what's he grabbing? He's got a briefcase, which we saw before, because Q gave him a briefcase with gadgets in it. What gadget is he going to use?
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Well, monsieur. Yes, it sounds very nice. Make that 3 of those, will you?
Oui, monsieur. Very simple, really.
Good.
See, I like this bit because it's quite a long. The whole train part of this movie is quite a long part, as I explained before, and it's just really nifty having a James Bond movie where there's such a long part near the end, which is just on a train.
We should reach the border in about an hour. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Somerset, but clumsy of me.
I guess one thing to note about watching movies on video CD is this resolution is very low, so you can't really make out how scuffed things look, I guess. I think that's one thing that's kind of noticeable about, like, if you're watching Blu-ray versions of movies or whatever, is that, like, when it's crystal clear, you can usually see how, like, that background is some kind of rear projection and stuff, and you can't really see how rough it looks in this version, but on the Blu-ray, I'm sure it looks rough as hell.
Waiter.
Monsieur.
I think it's some kind of
Waiter.
rear projection. Oh, so he's trying to poison... He does it in a way where it's really obvious, because he's an idiot.
Merci.
So, yeah, so she's been roofied, and then he goes, obviously I know that you roofied her, and obviously you've had a really terrible English accent the whole time.
My escape route's only for one. What are you after? The girl or the lector?
All right. What is your plan?
Explain it better on a map. All right? Down there.
We'll block the line. Make for that main road.
Just kill him already.
Pick up a car. There.
So, basically James Bond's just like had enough of this guy now, and he's just gonna murder him in a minute. I think, pretty sure.
Well, that should have told me something. You may know the right ones.
Yeah, just murder him, James Bond.
Himself. Until you could get us the lector. So
Yeah.
you had me delivered on a plate.
Yeah, so this guy is, the henchman guy is just admitting that, like, the whole plan is just to get the Brits to deliver Electra to Spectre, and actually it doesn't have, it's nothing to do with the Russians, really.
That's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
Go on, I'm fascinated.
Now that we've got it, you and the girl are expendable. Between here and Trieste. Threatening to give the film. And then what's it to you?
We'll double it.
Yeah, thing is, at the time, the Brits could probably afford to pay more for the Lecter, but he's not going to take...
word of honor?
He's not going to take money.
As an English gentleman? The first one won't kill you. Not the second. Not even the third. Not till you crawl over here and you kiss my foot.
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird thing to say. You must have some kind of fetish for it or something, right? That's the only reason why you would say something like that.
What with?
50 gold sovereigns.
That's actually quite a lot. If you don't know what a sovereign is basically just a gold coin, actually made out of gold coin. Like, it's actually made out of gold. They usually have a face value, but the face value is kind of irrelevant because the gold value is much higher, and so you sell it as a piece of gold, not as a currency, even though it is technically a coin. Yeah.
Where are they?
Up there in my case.
Okay, so I skipped over it, but basically the case has the latches, and if you don't use... the case only works correctly if you know how to deal with the latches, and James Bond was taught like you, but this guy doesn't know, so he's going to get tricked. That's a nice, fun, simple little detail. I think they probably wouldn't do something as basic or they wouldn't want to be seen to be doing something as basic as that in a script of a modern James Bond film, which is kind of annoying, I guess, because it's kind of like, it's fun in its simplicity.
You show me.
Yeah, but he doesn't know about that's the thing, right? He gets James Bond to check. That's why the script is really good, because there's all throughout there's all this like, oh, why don't you check for me then? There's nothing like that in Goldfinger, or in the other James Bond, unless there's some James Bond film I can't think of. That's just like, it's like the person who was writing it was just like thinking of ways to twist things all the time throughout the story, and just a little tiny bit in terms of the plot, and things. It's very, very minute, but it keeps things fun, and yeah.
Yeah. What about that cigarette?
Throw him down there. Any more in the other case?
Yeah, so basically he gets him with the case trick, and then they have a bit of a fight.
Never.
Take this.
Okay, so she's still roofied, the other guy's dead, they're getting into the car.
Come on.
And there's still more guys. I I'm not sure at this point if these guys are Spectre guys or if they're meant to be Bulgarians working for the Russians, or if it's a bit of a mix. Actually, it could be the Bulgarians working for the Russians because they probably want their Lecter back as well. So it's probably not even Spectre. But he shoots him, and
In my coat, in the pocket.
yep. So they're stealing the car or whatever. Boat.
What have you to say in number 5?
Yeah, and now Blofeld is like disciplining them because their whole plan's messed up. It's like because it was the guy on the right's idea for the whole plan, and the lady on the left was the one who was executing it. But the plan all went to shit.
It was Kleb's choice. Her people failed.
It was your plan. They followed it implicitly.
Yeah, they did follow it pretty much exactly, and it didn't work. So it is the guy's fault.
Impossible. It was perfect.
Except for one thing. They were dealing with Bond.
Who is Bond?
Yeah, because the plan was a perfect plan, but James Bond was too good, and every time they tried to kill him, it didn't work. That's basically it. Or he didn't fall for things they thought he would, or
compared
whatever.
with Kronstein.
Exactly. Even the Lector is not yet in our possession, keeping those promises. Our rules are very simple. If you fail...
Yeah, so they poisoned this guy, so he's going to die because he failed, because his plan was shit.
There's still time.
The lady says that she's going to still try to get the Lecter anyway.
Which is between those two mountains.
Get out of the way! So, they're still being chased, probably by the Russians. I could get more, like, they might have said at some point, but I forget. So I'm just assuming he's got a flare gun. So he's blowing stuff up. And then there's a scene where they're in a hotel room or whatever, and then at the door, this lady turns up, who's the Russian lady, and yeah, so that's the number 2 lady, who's the lady from, she's the lady from Austin Powers, except it's not the same actress. I just mean that like they clearly based the Austin Powers number 2 lady on this lady.
And also,
The problem is that the lady, the Bond girl lady, knows who this lady is.
get me the British consul. Thank you for everything. And signal the officer on our way back, will you?
Yeah, so she recognizes her because obviously, of course.
What was that?
But she thinks she doesn't realize is that she, at this point in the movie, she really likes James Bond's dick. That's it. Okay. Like, she's a big fan of this. So she was pretending to be a simp, and now she is a genuine simp, which means that she's not going to go along with Spectre's plan. She's never even heard of Spectre anyway. She thought that it was a Russian plan. The Russians have been some of the people who've been trying to, like, kill her and Bond anyway. Or some people have been who thought they were working for the Russians, at least. And so, you know, at this point, I'd be like, why are the Russians trying to kill us all the time? And now the Spectre guys were trying to kill us too. Yeah, so basically she's not on their side anymore. She's on James Bond's side.
Here, leave that. I'll take it. Huh? Oh, no.
Okay, so she wants to take the Lecter. Okay, so now James Bond has to have a fight with the lesbian lady. And, you know, basically James Bond wins.
There you are.
Then there's this really awkward bit at the end where they're on the gondola with the really bad projected film reel in the background, which looks rough as hell. I imagine blown up on the big screen, it looked really terrible, the background in this bit. I'd probably just not have included it because it looks so shit.
In case you ever need it again.
Oh, yes. All government property has to be accounted for. But as I said before, we won't always be working on the company's time, will we?
No.
At least this bit... Sorry. The music playing at this part is the From Russia with Love theme tune, which was not used in the intro, even though every other James Bond film after this uses the theme song in the intro.
James, behave yourself. We are being filmed.
Yeah, not quite the end.
Would not let.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of like this in I don't know if they still do that have done this with the more recent James Bond films, but the next James Bond film is Goldfinger. And actually there's something weird here, which I think in Doctor No, or maybe it was in Goldfinger, it said the next one would be one that it was not. It might have been in Doctor No. You can look that up online to see which the James Bond will return in is not always been correct, at least for some of the James Bond films. Okay, so how long did this go on for? It's like an hour and a quarter. Basically, what I said is my opinion of this is that the character relationships and who knows who is working for what group, like basically almost everybody is confused about which group they're working for, except for I guess James Bond and the Spectre people. Some of the Spectre people knew they were working Spectre, but then other people didn't know who they were working for and things. And like the lady didn't know who she was working for, and she, like my overall summary is that I think it's a more interesting idea, and it's kind of a smaller idea because it's just we just want a translation device so that we can monitor communications. That's it. That's the whole story of this film. There's no big like, oh, we're gonna blow lots of stuff up or try and take over half the world or steal like an absurd amount of gold. It's just like, oh yeah, we just want this little device which is going to become obsolete soon anyway, which is a much more interesting and smaller idea, and it's something that they should have done much more in the James Bond films. I think setting James Bond films in the present makes no sense because the sensibilities are too different and wrong for James Bond, and they don't really match up well with what I like about James Bond films, which basically means that although some of the Daniel Craig films might be okay, I wouldn't really call them James Bond films either. They're too modern. Even the Pierce Brosnan ones are like pushing it. Um, so, and I suspect if when they release the next James Bond film, that it won't really feel like a James Bond film anyway. Like, so I think my problem with James Bond, though, in general, is that there, in my opinion, if you can think of an aspect of a James Bond film that this film didn't do better, I think that's genuinely not true. If you can think of any one thing and say, oh, I really like this about James Bond films, but I think it was done better in this James Bond film as opposed to From Russia with Love, where they did something similar but not as well, I think that's not true. I think this is kind of the height of their game, where they're kind of like, this is the sort of like Goldfinger they basically nailed as well, and then after that, Sean Connery feels like he doesn't want to be there anymore. Like he's like 3 was more than enough. And the plot of Goldfinger is mostly stupid, and he doesn't do anything in Goldfinger. He just hangs around, and like he does almost nothing in Goldfinger. I guess I'll probably need to review Goldfinger at some point. My opinions of Goldfinger is that it's mostly a very boring film, where James Bond doesn't get to do anything very interesting, and I think like, but people say, nah, actually, I won't talk about this anymore. I don't know what I'm talking about because I was going to bring up some things I'd heard about the book of From Russia with Love, and I don't actually know if anything that I was going to say is true. So yeah, so that's it. So that's my video. If you disagree with me about how great this film is, then that's fine, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. When I said this was like the only good James Bond film, I was probably lying, because there's a few other James Bond films that I like. But I think this is the only, I would say, for me, James Bond really means the classic James Bond films, so maybe like just Sean Connery, George Lazenby, and maybe like Roger, what's his name? The third guy, I can't remember. Roger Moore. Roger Moore. Yeah. So basically, I think those 3 guys are the only like. I think they're James Bond in the like more traditional sense. And I think by the time Timothy Dalton came around, the James Bond idea had changed a lot to the point where it didn't really feel like James Bond anymore completely. And I think that's only gotten worse over time. So I really hate basically all of the Pierce Brosnan and James Bond films. They're all just too fake and lame and stupid and not well thought out, and they don't have very good ideas or concepts for the plots. They're pretty much all like the standard in most of the Pierce Brosnan films is like, oh, we want some guy wants to take over the world using his powers, like Doctor Evil style, like Blofeld, these sort of style. I guess that you could make that argument here is that the character Blofeld here, the guy petting the cat, like his long-term goal is probably to take over the world. But in this film, he just wanted to get Electra, and that's all he wanted, nothing else, which was really nice because it's such a simple thing to want. It's like making a war film where the only goal is to get an Enigma machine, and then you have a slightly weird romance plot around it. And yeah, so that's it. The video CD's reasonably nice looking for the time. Watching this in the 90s on a normal CRT TV would look probably passable. It's certainly better than the VHS. It's probably not better than broadcast quality, but most people probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I think Laserdiscs are technically slightly higher quality than video CDs, but yeah. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Ciao. Ciao.